Hello, how are you? So you remember a few months back when I left town, which is not a usual occurrence for me. Not even leaving my house is an unusual occurrence for me. Either way, that isn't the point. You remember a few months back when I left my house to buy something and make a video for you all? Yes, exactly. So, I bought more stuff that day, not just that. The thing is, as you all know, I like buying really cheap art supplies to show you all that you don't really need the most expensive stuff to make drawings. And especially good looking ones, it's more so about your skill and you more so than the art supply itself. The thing is, last year I showed you all these little acrylic markers here that I had bought and made a few drawings or just one drawing. I don't remember, but the thing is, these were really cheap. How much were they? Like $3? $6? I don't know. Probably like around $3. And I had made drawings with them, and these are brush marker, acrylic markers. I don't know what happened here. And these are good. These are really good. Like fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to compare them to. I've never had any other acrylic markers other than these. So when I left town, I did something which is buy more. I bought some more acrylic markers, okay? Because these are 18 colors and it's fine, I can deal with that. Like, I can do drawings with those, but I needed more, so I bought a 48 one. Okay, I bought a bunch of colors. And these aren't brush tips. But I think that I can work with these, okay? So today we will be drawing something in my good old sketchbook here. And we will be using this to color that in, because it's simple. I don't need the most expensive stuff. Having it would be nice, sure, but I don't need it, so I guess we'll do that now. Now I am using my Sketchbook 30 sketchbook. This guy is getting full, okay? I'm more than halfway through it, so I have an idea. I don't know how I'm going to execute it though. I'm quite unsure of that, but I guess we'll just see. Now today I want to draw two of my characters, Zachary and the President, because I love drawing those two annoying each other. What can I say? And that's what I want to draw today. How am I going to draw that? With my hand, because I can. Shade to all the AI artists, in quotes, because that isn't making art. But I'm not even like trying to pretend I'm shading. I'm just straight up shading. I'm gonna throw shit at you, okay? If you are that type of person to generate images using artificial intelligence, I will drop kick you if I find you in the streets. Now, I don't think I will talk much, so I'm gonna just do a voiceover. Ayo, voiceover angel here. So I actually looked for my receipt of the purchase that I keep, because I don't know, someday I want to look back and just see how inflation went, I guess. And these markers were actually $8, but there was a discount at the place at the time, so it ended up being $6. That's why I remembered the $6. Did I actually mention like it was 6 or 8? Or did I mention that it would have been like 6 or 7? I don't know, but they were $8.22 at the time, and then they ended up being $5.70 something, I guess. Doesn't matter. This was the same day that I had bought my $3 oil pastels when I posted this community post. You know, and I was afraid of dying. Oh, those were great times. Ever since, I have not left my home. Okay, no. I mean, technically, yes. That doesn't come to the case. I've been using cheap acrylic markers for a year now, and my first ones were brush-tipped. Brush tips are convenient, sure. Easier to adapt to if you're just starting out with, I don't know what you would be starting out with, traditional medium or just markers in general. I don't know, but they're like easier to start out with. It's easier to feather stuff and do gradients. But a little while back, like a few years ago, there weren't so many good off-brand options, and the good art supplies were expensive, the ones that would have brush markers. So you'd see just a bunch of artists actually get used to bullet nibs and chisel tips, and I was one of them. I'm still an avid chisel tip enjoyer with my alcohol markers. It's a lot easier to just make color in a big segment of your drawing and not destroying the tip. Either way, I think these little guys having a big bullet nib is great. My other acrylic markers, their tips are already fraying with how much I've been using them. They also start running out of ink because I use them quite a bit, so it's understandable. I honestly don't really know how much ink comes inside of these markers. Or I guess paint, right? These are acrylic markers or pens. Guys, I'm getting confused. I don't know how much comes in these, but I've been using them quite a bit. The other ones a year back, and they started running out of ink, kinda, but it's like a kinda, they still have some paint in them, so I can still use them. I think that there is one that actually dried out completely. Either way, I think that these are good enough for what you're paying for, but obviously it's easier to run out of paint when you use it a bunch, so I can't really speak for that, I guess. But these are great, right? And now comes a little segment called Angel Kill. Is very much Angel Kill. One, two, three, four. Oh my god, I don't know. Iconic. Wasn't it just like a while back that I had said that I didn't know how to count fingers in like an old drawing or something? Yes, I can be accused of generating images with AI after that, because I don't know how to count. Honestly, not the first time that happened to me, okay? I've done that quite a bit. It doesn't matter how many years pass, how much experience I get with drawing and illustrating and whatever, I will still count the fingers wrong, okay? Oh, so, to get a bit out of that little segment there, this video is sponsored by me! Yes! That's great. I can't believe I can make a little segment like this. With just $5 you can support me by buying art packs, consisting of all little yearly archives of my little drawings here. And soon enough, other little useful things that I'm working on to bring you all. It's also a pay what you want sort of deal. That way you can decide what worth you give my drawings and how much you can pay for if you can. If you can't support it, you don't have to, okay? Focus on yourself first always. So back to our usual program now. Here you can see me make my line art, which is technically a cleaned up sketch. But it's honestly cleaner than my digital line art is, which is also technically a cleaned up sketch. But traditionally I just make my line art a lot sharper because I use a mechanical pencil, I guess, while digitally I use a pen that I made that is sort of a sketchy little pencil thingy, and I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, lately I've just been getting really into digital drawing, so I draw something traditionally and then I use, I guess, my digital program to color it in. Also to fix it up because I have a liquify tool on Krita, which everyone has that downloads Krita. It's just a lot easier to do line art traditionally, but coloring is easier digitally, and I just really like the look of it. I also like the texture that the Sketchbook gives the drawing, so then people are confused. They're like, wait a second, is this digital or traditional? Like, I don't understand. How does this have paper texture and pencil texture there, but also it looks so cleanly colored? And I'm like, yes, that's my answer. Either way, let's go back to painting traditionally with acrylic markers. Painting with acrylic markers is easier than anything else if you want to color it in, at least in my eyes. It's a really easy way to add color to your sketchbook quickly, since it has a bigger opacity. Plus you can cover up some previous page that you colored in with alcohol markers. Come on now, we can do this without dying in the middle. With alcohol markers and, you know, the ink pass through the paper, because that's just how alcohol markers are. And then you want to cover up the other page because maybe you are using some good paper and you don't want it to go to waste. You can use acrylic markers to cover that up. And also, since we're talking about expensive paper, as you know, I don't use expensive paper at all. I actually don't use anything expensive because I'm a cheapo. But these work great on printer paper too, which is what I'm using here. That sketchbook there was made by me with paper that I got from the government for years, and I just really enjoy it, I guess. It just works really great since the paint just stays on top and glides around. Sure, if you use a lot of force, you will rip the paper, but that's more so how much force you use, more so than the paper itself. Because I've used these on, what was it, cardstock? I mean, the paper that I have isn't really cardstock, it's very soft. It's like, it's a mix of cotton and cardstock. It's a really weird paper, okay? But it's thicker, it has more grammature to it, and it rips more than my printer paper, so I guess that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so my drawing is done. I'm honestly surprised with how fast I am drawing traditionally compared to digitally, because this is cleaner than my line art is digitally, and digitally I take like way longer than I did here. This was done like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. Now that I think about it, I might have... Okay, I'm very fast. So, time to color it in. I don't exactly know what I am going for. I will be using these bullet markers. Not this color though, I'm not drawing Hatsune Miku right now. Also, say goodbye to this really great sketch, okay? This drawing is really good. Should we just go straight in? I feel like I chose the right characters for this, and you know why? Because both of these characters have very monochromatic designs. I chose the wrong characters if I wanted this to be a challenge. Basically, both of their designs are just black and white, and then one color. In the president's case, it's red, and Zachary's case, it's blue. Did I ever even mention that I'm drawing Zachary and the president? I might have not. Basically, I'm drawing my two characters, the president of Zelium, also known as Soph Elijah Sorrow, and Zachary Ruby. Zachary is my oldest character that I have, along with Josie Mary, which is a really weird thing to say. Like, with Zachary, it's understandable, okay, because he is the father of She. My main story from when I was a kid up until I was a preteen, I think, now that I think about it. I mostly focused on developing Zachary's story, but then I finished that. In my head, I never actually did anything with it. Then I finished developing that, and I was like, done with it, but I was very deeply, not affected, emotionally invested with my own characters, obviously. So I was like, okay, so what comes after this then? So obviously with that phrase I was like, well, after this, I guess, comes the next generation. And that's how I started exploring generations of people, I guess, of families and whatnot. So came She and Selena, which would be the kids, right? She being Zachary's kid. To me, it's an interesting thought, maybe not to you, but that's just how they came to be. I mean, the president was born in, when was it? 2019, I think. There was a previous version, which I then abandoned, and later on, I don't remember if it was 2018 or 2019 but I think it was 2019, but 2018 I guess counts as well. Wait, I'm remembering a bunch of stuff, because if I'm not mistaken, there was a Wattpad story that pretty much includes, like, one of his previous versions. Anyways, he was made around 2018, 2019, his, like, alpha design. beta design, I don't know how to call like his previous version. And then I established him as being the thing, which is a funny thing to say, the thing he is now in 2020 when he was just called Thing. That's when he came to be, as he is now. But he's quite young in comparison to my other characters, because Selena, the new gen Selena, was made in 2016, I think. And she was also 2019. She, I remember exactly because that is the date of her birthday, which is the... Now I'm having issues again. I have this same issue every single year, which is figuring out, is it the 20th of August or the 21st of August? But one of those 2 days, it's she's birthday because she was created on that day. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I was just calling him in. I really like black acrylic markers because of how opaque they are. I really like using those, but to use those, you gotta do a little bit of, you know, some... Whoa, that's a lot lighter than I expected it to be. Why is it this color? But if you are so bright, then what are you? You are even brighter! Oh my god. Wait, but then what are you? Guys, I'm having an epiphany here, because you're even lighter. Whoa. Also, that's dry, but this side isn't. Why are you in between these two? Never trust caps, okay? Either way, what was I doing now? Oh yeah, let's just fix that up. And try again. Now, what is... I know that his hair is... I mean, other than both their hairs probably graying, he probably dyes it and that's it, but his has like a bluish hue to it. You know that black number 2, which is a bluish black, I think it's called. I don't know, every single time that I try to name a color, especially of black, when I say black number 1, you all know what I think of. I mean, you all might now know, you might have not known before, which is very possible. Actually, it's more possible that you didn't know, more so than you did know. Not even making sense. I don't know. Either way, I try not to get too lost when I use these, especially in my sketchbook. I'm trying to have fun here. I'm not trying to make masterpieces. I can, of course. Have I done it before? No, I have. I've done it before. But I just prefer having a little nice little sketchbook sesh. Y'all know? Y'all know how it is? Why don't you all have a little sketchbook sesh? So, should I talk about more stuff with you? What do you say? I don't really know. I guess we should talk about their dynamic. I want to draw more of their dynamic. I mean, in general, I want to draw more of my OC's interactions, as I've mentioned in a previous video, which might have been... Which video might have that been? The comic one, right? Where I colored in my traditional comic. The one where... The comic is called Jealousy, right? That's all that I know. That's how I remember my illustrations. That's why I give them titles in the first place. I want to draw more interactions with my OCs. And I love these two interacting because Zachary is this alien being which came to the planet because his planet was being a piece of shit, and then they tried to go after him and try to destroy everything in, you know, in their attempt to destroy him because he is a rebel. Childhood stuff, right? Just child things. I decided to keep it. A lot of my stories, like for example, A New Beginning, it's really cringe, right? It's really edgy and just like a teen. Was I a teen? Yeah, I was a teen. A teen making random little things and just really shitty stories, and I just keep them because why would I change that? That's iconic. You gotta keep your roots, man. Have some fun, be cringe and be free. I just decided to keep those. That's why, like, Zachary's story is just really crazy. Just a child's mind in the early 2000s doing childlike things. So I decided to keep that. So his story is him being an alien rebel, escaping his planet, coming to Earth, and his planet coming after him, trying to destroy him, and then sort of trying to destroy the planet in a way, in their attempt to kill him, and him then trying to defend the planet, you know, because he's decided to live there. Might as well, right? So they start fighting and whatnot. I don't know, it's just really fun. So he's like considered this hero, right, by the people who, you know his story. And that's how the whole geometrical base is formed as well in Xelium. Because Xelium is one of the few places on the planet Earth which accepts, you know, all sorts of beings. That's why there are angels there. And geometrals, which are the species which he is. And then he has a feud with the president because the president isn't exactly human, and he knows that because he has like studied all sorts of creatures to know them and be able to, you know, defend his little home and place and whatnot. And he knows what he is, and he is very dangerous. So he's like, I know you're a villain. There is no other reason why you specifically being this being would decide to become one of the, if not the biggest political figure in this place. He is the president of Xelium after all. So he decides to just go along with it and annoy him because of it. Because the people forced them to work together, because why wouldn't they join forces, right? So he just starts annoying him, and he is mad at him, and he doesn't mind him. He doesn't care. He only really is there to annoy him. And I just love their dynamic, and I need to draw more of it. Either way, I need to shade this. The thing is, I could add skin color, but I'm afraid of doing that because it never really works in my favor using acrylic markers to do skin. Should I try again? Okay, so what skin tones do I have here? I've got quite a few options that I could choose from. They have... Now his skin tone is more warm, sort of neutralish, while his is cooler in skin tones. They're both still... He is very pale, okay? He never sees the light of day. He is more... He has more color to him. Now, which of these would give me that? I'm afraid of pulling... Now this I'm pretty sure is fluorescent, okay? I told you. Just by seeing this, you already know that's fluorescent. It's like playing those Jenga games. Is it Jenga as well in English? Is it Jenga in any other language that I know? What language am I thinking of? Those little tower things, tower brick, wooden things, then you have to pull things out without making the tower fall. God, I'm great at explaining things. Now, let's see. It's neutralish. That's... I guess so. Let's just start with Zachary. These guys are already really old when they start doing their whole dynamic, among with other things. Let's not. You know, I remember that when I was a kid and I was making his story, there was this woman that he was just absolutely obsessed with. And I remember that he was a piece of shit too. Damn, because like, he just got divorced from his ex-wife, of course. What was her name? Sayuri, I think. And like, straight after the divorce, he just straight went after this woman. I don't think she had a name. She only had a nickname, a Brazilian nickname. So how do I even translate that? Because it's impossible to translate it, because anything that I would translate it to would really not sound right, okay? So in my more recent translations, I think that I redrew her last year, I think. I just decided to call her Muffin because she has a bakery. But damn, straight after divorce, just straight after that woman. And he just really loved her. He like kissed the floor she walked on, and she did not give a fuck. She did not care at all. I love it. He's just a guy. What do I use to do anything with? I guess I should use these to try and like blend anything, right? Oh, what are you? Oh, you're a color that works. Oh, why did I become Mickey Mouse? Oh no. Now, the lighter colors obviously aren't very opaque in comparison to darker colors because they have to make the paint very thin inside acrylic markers, just in general, any brand that you buy, so that it's able to flow through the tip, okay? So if you bought, for some reason, a very cheap acrylic marker set and the lighter colors aren't as opaque as you imagine they would be, that's just how ink works in general in paint, okay? You just gotta make a few layers and then it's fine afterwards. It's the same thing if you were to paint on plastic with actual acrylic paints. If you don't want it to have a very thick coat that you can see the brush strokes on, then you have to water down your paint and just do many thin layers. That's basically the same thing. That's why it has to go through that little tip there. I mean, that's not why, it's because it's a marker, but that's how it does get through there. If you just keep layering, things end up the way they do. Ooh! Ooh! I don't... If I use this, I think that he's going to have a pancreas issue. I don't think that that works. But you can mix in some more tones in there. If we make a mistake, that's fine, we can just cover it up. That's acrylic marker stuff. Why am I rhyming? Ooh, that's very red. He's supposed to have really dark red eyes. Can I add a bit of that and then blend it out? That's the question. Of course I can. You all know it. You all know it. You just know it. What are Zachary's eye color again? I know. Does he have blue eyes? I think so. Guys, I don't remember my own character, okay? Oh, come on, play Jenga. That's what I have nails for. It isn't working. I still can't believe I counted the fingers wrong. Oh man, that's great. Actually, I can believe that because I lack brain cells, but in a good way. Okay, I'm just a silly fella. Gotta add some of that. Let's add some eyeshine there. That's great. Wonderful, even. Let's add some reflections there as well. What am I doing? His mask is black. I forgot. Oh, I forgot. You know what I really like doing? Mixing in alcohol markers with acrylic markers. I just think that the overall look just looks really nice. It gives it a nice polish. That is not the color that I expected you to have. See, that's why it's good to test your markers before you use them. That's a nicer one. He has these going down his what is it called? His tunic? No, it's not a tunic. Is tunic a word? His little coat. I don't know names anymore. But he has little spirals going down. I think that's very precious. Let's add some reflections too. The finer black details I will just do with pen. If I find my pen, that's a great... Oh, with pen. Found my pen. But until then, let's just add some more details. You know, now that I'm here, I guess I should mention it to you. You might find this in a community post as well. I actually fixed this drawing up a bit using a sticky note after I finished doing the drawing here that you see in the back. Because the president's head, it just looked a little bit wonky, okay? It looked... Because I want to give this feeling that he is, in fact, bigger than pretty much anyone else, because he is. And so I'm like, okay, so parts of him would be bigger, just in comparison. His head would be bigger than other people's heads, his hands would be bigger than other people's hands, and just in general, he would be longer and bigger, and just, you know, this guy's our short little king here, 7'5". So I just tried to give that feeling across, but I really just exaggerated here, and it did not work out. So an easy way to fix things up traditionally when you know, don't like something or just thought that it could have looked better if you want to try again, is putting a little sticky note there. It also is a nice way to add texture to your sketchbooks if you want to have those very aesthetic sketchbooks that are like really full and whatnot, thick and beautiful. I recommend using different textures. That really gives that feeling across. But I always keep in mind that sketchbooks still are made for sketching and don't have to look perfect. If that sort of aesthetic, pretty sketchbooks are your cup of tea and you really want to have one, then sure, go for it. But don't ruin your pleasure of drawing with that. I think a lot of pressure comes from these videos of artists having the most painted, organized, perfect sketchbooks, where most stuff isn't even a sketch anymore. That's also why I show all my old sketchbooks in my sketchbook tour series. A lot of times sketchbooks are just made for that, for sketching and for practicing and figuring out a drawing or just easy stuff like that and having fun, experimenting. I just want to put that feeling across. Just don't put too much pressure on yourself because of someone else's, I don't know, artistic perfection, I guess, or just what they are into. Just do your own thing. But if you do want that, then it's fine, of course. I'm not going to stop you. What am I going to do? Jump out of the screen and grab you by your neck? What would I do? I don't know. Sketchbooks just tell a story of where you're now, artistically and in life, so that someday you can look back and be like, wow, I drew really poorly. Thank God I got better. And I don't know, maybe you recognize a drawing and you're like, oh man, I remember how I used to live in a cardboard box at that point in my life. I don't know. And then you're like, and now I'm rich. I'm a millionaire now. Thank God. Who knows? But I love these acrylic markers, okay? They're just really neat. I love the texture that the markers themselves have. It's weird to describe, but they're just grippy enough. And here it is. Just a simple little, simple is a strong word, right? But it's just a little sketch of our characters, plural, the president and Zachary. And I like this result, okay? I just enjoy drawing these little things. I decided to go with a yellow background just to centralize them more, make them stand out more, because their whole color scheme is already too white and black, I guess. And it fits in because of the red and the blue and then yellow, right? The fake primary colors. Either way, I just love them, okay? They're just silly little fellas. And I love acrylic markers, even these cheap ones. These are great. I like using acrylic markers in my sketchbooks because they don't rip the pages apart as much, even though you could if you do it too much. But they take printer paper, which is the paper inside my sketchbook, really well. Or I guess my paper takes these markers really well. And I just think it's just really simple and fun and sweet, and it's an easy way to just quickly add color to your sketchbooks. Overall, just spend a little money. These were, how much were they? Like $6 or $7 for 42 colors? No, 48. I don't know how to count. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just enjoy these. It brings your characters to life. I hope you have a nice day and night, and I hope to see you next time to hear me ramble and talk about my OCs. Bye!